Hi Twitch! We are coming at you live from AWS reInvent 2019 in the middle of the expo hall. My name's Nikki. I'm a senior software engineer at AWS. We're going to talk to you a little bit about a brand new AWS service that launched. But before we do,
you might say we're going to chat to you about it.
We're going to chat to you about it. Look at that pun.
You'll see.
That's a good pun. Before we do, some intros, please, from my amazing guest and awesome co-host.
Hi everyone, I'm Ilya Bezdilev. I'm part of the AWS User Experience and Console team in Seattle, and I'm the principal product manager for the new AWS chatbot service.
So, chatbots is what we're going to talk about in just a second. My name's Gabe. You've seen me throughout the week. Also a technical evangelist based in Singapore, but finally over the jet lag.
So, Ilya, you launched a new awesome service. It is a chatbot service, as you said. Tell us a little bit about it. What is it called? What does it do?
Sure. So the service is called AWS Chatbot, and earlier this year we announced its beta. It happened in July this year. And it's a service that enables teams, primarily DevOps teams, to run ChatOps natively on AWS. And in July, we launched the capability to receive notifications, things like CloudWatch alarms, health events, budget alerts, etc. And just last week, we announced a new feature that enables teams to retrieve diagnostic information from AWS into their Slack channels, invoke Lambda functions, and create support cases by running simple AWS CLI compatible commands and also clicking buttons.
So you mentioned Slack, so I can install it into my current Slack channels. Anywhere else I can install it?
You can install it in Slack and Chime.
And Chime.
Slack currently supports commands and notifications. Chime only supports notifications at this point.
Okay.
So what kind of what services does the AWS chatbot integrate with specifically?
Sure. So you can receive notifications like operational alerts from CloudWatch, from Health, from Systems Manager. You can get cost alerts from AWS budgets. You can get security findings from GuardDuty and Security Hub. You can get compliance notifications from Config. And just recently we announced integration with DevTools suite. So you can get CI/CD notifications from code commit, from code build, from code pipeline.
Can you kick off a pipeline from chat?
Not yet.
Not yet.
And you can also get CloudFormation notifications.
Well, you probably could, because you can invoke a Lambda, right? So you could wire up a Lambda to kick off a pipeline and invoke that Lambda from the chatbot?
That's right, and it leads me to my next point.
You can invoke a Lambda. Whoa, whoa. We got to go over this.
Yeah, you can pretty much run any AWS, read-only AWS API with some exceptions, invoke Lambda functions, and create support cases from Slack right now. And you use the standard AWS CLI syntax for doing that. And I'll show more of that in the demo later.
So what kind of, what are like some of the commands that I would type to like invoke the Lambda or like see my bill or any of these things?
So if you want to invoke a Lambda, you just type AWS Lambda invoke, and you type a function name in there. And if you want to provide the payload, you do -- payload, and provide the JSON in there, and hit enter, and that's all you do.
I mean, I want to see this guy in action.
Yeah, we can watch a demo.
Let's see a demo.
Let's go for it. All right, so to set the context, so I have an AWS account here in a Slack workspace, and I have a Lambda function that does some very simple things. It just takes a value from the event, and it fails if the event is malformed. And you can see that I'm not good at handling exceptions. And I have a CloudWatch alarm that is set up on that Lambda function, and it will fail in the case if there is any error within 1 minute.
The alarm will fire. It will trigger if there's any errors from the Lambda.
Right.
Okay.
The alarm will fire. And it will fire a state change notification to the SNS topic called reInvent demo topic.
SNS being our service, our simple notification service.
Yeah, we're dropping a lot of service names here.
To glue things together.
Right.
Lambda is also our serverless function as a service, I guess, service, where you can write serverless functions and or applications.
Just upload your code and wire up different events to trigger that code to run under different circumstances. And that's what you'll see here.
He wrote a function that essentially just prints the event, which is some data that he's going to give his function, and then he's got a CloudWatch alarm to trigger when the function errors.
Yeah, so this looks like it's trying to pull an ID attribute out of the event. So if the event doesn't have an ID attribute, it'll probably blow up.
That's correct.
Great.
Got it.
Yeah.
I can read code still.
All right, thank you for helping me set the context. So now let's configure AWS Chatbot with Slack.
Okay.
So this is the AWS console homepage, and let me just find AWS Chatbot. You just start
type chat in the search box.
Yeah, and you pick AWS Chatbot.
I like it. It's the name of a service that does what it says.
Right.
We have some confusing service names. Chatbot is not one of them.
I know, right? So, so here on the homepage, you select Slack as a client you want to configure, and you can configure client. What happens next is you are redirected to Slack, where Slack prompts you to provide AWS Chatbot permissions to send messages to your Slack workspace, and also to receive messages when the bot is mentioned.
Okay.
So make sure that you select the right workspace.
Make sure you're in the whichever Slack account you want to attach this to.
Correct, yeah. So I click Allow, and now I'm redirected back to the AWS Chatbot console. And at this point, the chatbot is installed to the Slack workspace.
Okay.
And if your company is on Slack Enterprise Grid, you might have the app admin approval flow,
Right.
where your Slack admin has to approve any new applications.
That makes sense.
So in this case, you would have to wait for the Slack admin to approve the app first before you can use it.
Got it. But
Hopefully
now
they're going to get a
approval's been
Slack
sent.
notification to approve that.
There you go.
Yeah,
So the approval has been sent at this point if you do have that admin on
correct.
Slack.
Yep.
Cool.
So, so now I'm prompted automatically to configure a Slack channel.
Yep.
To create a chatbot configuration, as we call it. And I want to send notifications and run commands from a public channel called AWS Chatbot reInvent 2019, which I have here.
Appropriately
in my
named.
Slack workspace. Yep. And as you can see, Chatbot populates the list of your public channels. And
That's nice.
And if you have a private channel, by definition it's private, so we cannot populate it in this list.
Right.
So what you do there, you select private, and you go to Slack, you do the right click, do the copy channel name,
Okay.
and then you paste the link here.
Got it.
So, but right now, let's just stick with the public channel.
Sure.
Right. So then the next thing, which is very important, is the permissions that you give the chatbot. So as part of this flow, we'll create an IAM, Identity and Access Management role, with certain policies that will define what commands you can run. And we will use
Well, it's not going to define what commands you can run. You can try and run any command, but it will define which ones will run successfully.
correct, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and also I have to note here that in the beta we only allow read-only commands and Lambda invoke and support case creation.
Okay.
So any non-read-only command that you run that's not part of this list will be automatically rejected by our backend.
So we have another layer, no matter what you put and then privileges for that role.
You can only still do the
It's still
commands
only
that-
read-only.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you give it admin permissions, it's like you're not going to destroy yourself because those delete commands will be blocked. And we also block commands related to IAM, KMS, Systems Manager, and a few other commands that have to do with retrieving permissions, like Lightsail get credentials or something. So that's also blocked by our backend.
Oh, cool.
So you don't accidentally expose those credentials in your Slack channel.
Nice.
So let me give the role a name.
If we have a role that already exists,
Yeah.
otherwise you'd go and you would create a role yourself, but you've already got one that you made.
Yeah, so you can actually select a role from...
Okay, so you're going to create using a template here?
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm going to create a role
Okay.
using template. So for simplicity, I'm going to select all the templates we have here.
Nice.
So we have 4 templates. So the first template is called notification permissions. It gives us some basic CloudWatch access that allows us to render a CloudWatch metric graph when you receive CloudWatch alarms in Slack. And read-only command permissions, is obvious. It gives you read-only permissions. Lambda invoke gives you Lambda invocation permissions, and support command permissions gives you access to support APIs.
We got a good question here from
Yep.
chat from David R7777. Does it support multiple Slack channels? Can you add the bot to multiple channels?
You can add the bot to multiple Slack channels, and you can either use the same role in multiple Slack channels, or you can create a role for each individual channels.
Oh, that's nice.
And you
That
can
is
also
really nice.
map multiple AWS accounts to the same Slack channel. So you have to perform this configuration that I'm showing you right now in any of those accounts you want to configure.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, so select all those roles. And here in the notification section, I'm going to select the topic where the alarm publishes its state changes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pick this one. And as you can see here, I can actually add topics from multiple regions.
Ooh, that's cool.
That's nice.
Yeah. So with AWS Chatbot, actually, you don't have to use it in multiple regions. You can, as you can see, it's a global
It's
service.
a global service, yep.
Yeah. So it all happens in the same place.
Okay.
So I click configure, and now we have the bot in
The configuration
configuration
seems
with
to have
Slack.
been set up.
Yep. So now let me go to Slack. And okay, so here I'm going to invite the AWS bot. And by the way, you can see the AWS appeared here as,
Oh, yeah.
As an application. So I'm going to invite AWS to this Slack channel. And to see what the chatbot can do, let's do AWS help.
Nice.
So you can see.
Ooh, this is so fun.
Yeah, so you can see this command showed me what the bot is, what it can do on the high level, and it shows me the syntax that you can use with the
Just
bot.
like the CLI syntax you
Just
mentioned.
like the CLI. Yep.
Yep.
So nice.
And so now we want that Lambda function that I showed to fail and send us a CloudWatch alarm. So I can
Yeah.
show you how you can retrieve CloudWatch logs from that alarm. So in the normal conditions, you would have your serverless infrastructure. Your Lambda would receive events from somewhere, and intermittently, occasionally it will fail if you have problems.
Yeah.
But now we will trigger this condition artificially. And to do that, I'm going to actually invoke that Lambda function from Slack itself.
Yeah, we don't have to. This is just, you're showing two features here. One is invoking a Lambda, and then we're going to see the alert notification from the chatbot coming back.
Yeah. So actually, I don't remember the Lambda function name. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type AWS Lambda and see what commands it has.
Yep.
And
Wow.
What I'm looking for is this one, list functions. So I can see what my function name is. So we'll do this.
Yeah, it's just like the AWS CLI, the command line interface.
Oh, and I didn't specify the region. So even though the chatbot is global, it needs to know which region your Lambda is in.
Right?
So conveniently it gives you the prompt that you can use to provide the region.
Now, is our Lambda in US West 2? No. Okay, you're changing it.
Yeah, it's in the USS too.
Okay.
So I only have to provide the region once. After that, the chatbot will remember the region for the subsequent commands.
And is that for you as a user session, or is that global?
As if it's like the whole channel.
It's for this whole channel.
Got it. Okay.
And if you use another region in the another command, then it will reset the setting to that new.
Okay.
region.
That makes sense.
Okay, so this is the function that I was looking for, and let's invoke it. And I know Lambda has an invoke API, but I don't remember what parameters it takes. So I'm gonna type Lambda invoke and see what it has in here. So it only
I like
has,
how all the formatting comes in nice and
yeah, it's
in
really
Slack.
nice.
Ah, thank you. So it only has one required parameter, which is the function name.
Yep.
So what we're going to do is we're going to type AWS Lambda invoke function name.
Oh my
And
God,
we
I
haven't
feel like
given
I'm
it
gonna
an
play with
event
this
as a payload.
never-ending.
Yes.
So hopefully
Would
it'll
you
blow
like
up,
me to
right?
do it? Yes, I would.
Yes.
So for read-only commands, chatbot will just execute them without asking for permission. But since invoke is a non-read-only command,
That's right.
one of the few that's enabled, then we ask for permission. So we hit yes, and as expected, the function is unhandled.
Because we didn't pass an event, so we
Right.
couldn't unpack an ID from it.
Exactly, yes. So now it will take maybe a minute or two for the CloudWatch alarm to show up. But before it shows up, let's use this time productively, and I'll show you some other ways how you can provide parameters to the chatbot.
Okay.
And one of the interesting things we do is, if I go back to the Lambda invoke example, it only has one required parameter. And the chatbot is smart enough to determine that if you provide just like a value without the parameter name, it must be a default parameter.
Or
So
whatever the required positional
Yeah.
parameter is.
So, and let me just show this.
That's
You'll-
great. Anything that has me do less typing
Yeah, exactly.
means less typos.
Yeah. So
Good.
so we do this.
Same thing, right? It'll work.
Yeah.
It's gonna work.
It'll
It will
invoke.
work. So yeah, and it actually populates the command, like it completes the command for you.
Nice.
Wow.
That's very helpful.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. So then we do the next thing, which is we can just type at Lambda. Actually,
Oh, there's our CloudWatch alarm.
Oh, we got our alert.
yeah. Let's jump. Actually, let's continue with the command parameters and then go to the display logs
Okay.
after that. Okay, so let's see. So if I just type this and don't provide any parameters at all,
Yeah.
this is what happens. It tells me that it doesn't fail me right away, like the CLI does. So it tells me that there is actually one required parameter, and if you want, you can provide it now using this syntax. And I can just copy that.
Got it. So basically, you're sort of continuing the interaction session you had from the previous command.
Correct. Yes. And then
Wow.
type the function name here,
Yep.
and it will accept it. So,
Okay.
so another thing you can do is like invoke is actually a unique operation in the AWS SDK model. So you actually don't even have to specify lambda. You can just say at AWS invoke.
Wow.
And type the function name.
So that's even more shorthand because there's
Yeah.
nothing else you can invoke right besides lambdas, so it's
Yeah.
just shorter.
Yeah,
Okay.
there aren't many operations like this, but for those that exist like invoke or describe alarms, you can actually like omit a bunch of things and get your commands run very quickly.
Wow.
Now, is that discoverable? How would I know that I could just do AWS invoke?
Yeah, like how could I find that out?
Besides watching on the stream and
So-
learning it directly from the people who built it.
It's a very good question. So right now there is no way to discover this. You can just try it, and if you type something that let's do this. If I do list functions, I know this is not a unique operation.
Right.
So this is what will happen. It tells me that there are two services that use this
Oh, that's cool.
operation, and by just trying it out, you won't break anything. It will just tell you that you can't use it, and you have to specify the service name.
That's great.
So just by communicating with the chatbot, you can figure out the shorthand.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to the
The alarm that was triggered.
the alarm was triggered. So as you can see, this alarm has a bunch of details. It shows me the alarm name, the region, the account
All the
ID.
normal CloudWatch data
Yeah,
about
all
it.
normal stuff, except that this graph, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't come as part of the standard CloudWatch alarm when you receive it via email.
That's right.
So we render this using the role that you provided to us, or I provided to myself, I guess. And it shows me the trend, how the metric was trending before the alarm was triggered. Since this is a demo, I don't have any data. But if
Right.
it was a production account, you might imagine you have like 0 errors, and then you have like a spike,
Right.
and it means something is
Or
going
we
wrong.
could see if it was just one temporary blip.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and now, so I have this button called Show Logs, and if I click on it, chatbot makes
Oh man, that's nice.
Wow.
the chatbot makes a query to CloudWatch Logs Insights, which is a service we launched
Yes.
a few months ago, I believe.
Yeah, it was launched. It
We
was in
launched
preview
CloudWatch
for a
Logs
while.
at reInvent last year
Yep.
for CloudWatch Logs Insights.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. So it makes a query to CloudWatch Logs Insights
Pulls the relevant
pulls the relevant
execution,
information.
only that, so you don't have to troll through all of your scroll back in your CloudWatch logs.
Yeah,
What
so
if you wanted to see the whole log, though?
No, this is the whole log, but it's only this invocation. It
So-
doesn't show all the other invocations.
got it.
Actually, what it does is it looks at your CloudWatch alarm, evaluation period and stuff, and it tries to, infer the time period
Yeah.
that where this failure happened, and it pulls
And
you.
grab that exact time period.
Yes, and it grabs like the first 30 lines of logs for that time period.
Okay.
So if you have like a super large production system, you might not get the right logs.
Got it.
But if you have something that's more kind of on demand, you might get a specific invocation, like you said.
It's doing
Could
the
you
work
call
for
for
us that
more?
we would do anyway in our brains when we looked in the CloudWatch logs.
Yeah,
so
the
it's,
first 30
it's
logs-
certainly more convenient.
30 lines.
You can look for more. So here we also provide you the command that you can run
Yep.
to
That's so cool.
to get exactly the same results.
Right.
So this currently comes in a timestamp, kind of epoch timestamp format in milliseconds. So you'd have to do some math to actually get broader time scale.
Yep.
Let's say if I want to make it a minute wider, I would have to replace it with zeros. I mean, we are going to do something with it. So, but right now, you have to use the.
So I have a question. Are there
Yep.
any plans to add maybe pre-processing extension support? So like if I wanted to add some of my own custom command pre-processors so that I could type a natural date string format there, for example, and then have that hand off to the chatbot in the converted epoch time. That would be a nice thing to do.
This is a great idea. I'll pass it back to the engineering team.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So you can see like it got me the same log because I don't have any more logs in there.
Yep.
And from here I can see it from a stack trace where it failed.
Nice.
Right. So and now let's see how our alarms are doing. So I'm gonna type a AWS CloudWatch.
Oh look, we're healthy again.
Yeah. Describe alarms command, which is a bit of a special case in the chatbot. So it shows you the output of the standard API call, but it also shows you a rendering of your alarms as an image. And if I had multiple alarms in my account, I would have like a 2x(n) matrix with all the alarms I have along with the metric trends. And I can click on it, expand it.
Okay.
Look.
We're getting some questions in chat. So if I don't have Slack or Chime, Is there some kind of like generic webhook support, or is there plans to support future?
Other chat environments.
Yes.
Yeah, we are certainly looking at other chat environments. And yeah, stay tuned for announcements, I guess.
Okay.
Stay tuned, I guess. So where can our customers go to learn more about all the different kinds of commands that they can run?
Sure, they can go to AWS website and look up the chatbot service under the management and governance category, or you can go to the chatbot console, configure it, and just start talking to the chatbot and see what it does.
Posted a blog post for all of you as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we also have a blog post that covers some of the examples I covered here,
Awesome.
and we also have documentation.
Well, this was so cool. I can't wait to install this in all of my Slack channels.
It's nice to start the day with a great demo. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the amazing demo. We'll be back with more content soon, so stay tuned. Bye, everyone.
Stay with us. Thanks, Switch.